Hello and welcome back to Bannerlord Modded and our Camel Focus series. So, as you can see, we now have some people calling for peace against the Crusade. Obviously, I'm gonna say no. It is starting to cost me a lot of influence because I have actually made Undgar, one of our former party leaders, and before that, one of our former caravan runners, into a vassal. I gave him Hakun Castle, and hopefully that's going to be decent enough for him, at least to begin with. So it is getting harder and harder for me to win these votes, and eventually my influence is going to, well, inevitably deplete. And, well, I have some trebuchets here that we can now put out. Hopefully we're going to be able to take down the walls at Akalat, and then we'll be able to go straight on in and actually take it. This is going to be a relatively simple one. We shouldn't have to worry about this too much because they weren't able to replenish their stocks of food before I even arrived. They were having issues with that. So we're just going to go straight on in here. And I have actually been doing a little bit of off-screen progression here because obviously I did need to do some capturing of castles, and most of the time if we're going to capture some castles it is a little bit repetitive, so I do like to just get that out of the way a little bit more so that we can get to the nitty-gritty of eliminating the Crusade. Now don't worry, we've still got a pretty significant amount to do here, but obviously we're going to have some issues, you know, maybe taking the last of their towns, because there are a bunch of towns still remaining. I think they have Onira and Danustica potentially, so we're going to have to deal with them too. And otherwise, apart from that, I feel like I'm pretty confident. Oh yeah, by the way, the Western Empire actually did manage to take Amprila, and I am not a big fan of that. So let's just say, I mean, it's pretty obvious that I wouldn't be a fan of that because we have been struggling over Amprila for a very large amount of time, and it's just not good, you know, it's just not good. So, thankfully, we did make peace with them, but they have taken it. So, kind of a bit of a double-edged sword there, because I would obviously prefer if we could take it and then make peace, but obviously I just didn't have the time to do that because I was focusing on eliminating the Crusade. If we can eliminate the Crusade and maybe even get a decent tribute from them, I'm actually not entirely sure if I'm going to leave them with one castle or something like that. I don't think that that's particularly necessary, but let's just say that we did. You know, if we left them with one castle, it might actually make sense because then they are paying us a significant amount of cash, and we don't really have to do anything for it, and they only have one castle, but they always have the ability to kind of come back, you know what I mean? They always have that propensity for resilience, and so I'm kind of wondering to myself right now, you know what, that's probably not going to be worth it, so I think I will literally just end up taking every single one of their fiefs, if I can actually handle that, of course. Declaring war on the Western Empire. Okay, what? I literally just made peace with them. Alright, sure. They have 8 towns and 7 castles. If my vassals think they can do this, then I'm more than happy to let them try. Okay, because this is the first time they've actually come to me with any kind of declaration whatsoever, so I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know what? If they feel like they can do it, then I'm more than happy to let them go for it and try. Because usually all we're getting is, please make peace, please make peace, please make peace and peace and peace. And that's it. That is literally all we're getting. And it's very annoying to get that constantly. So I'm actually quite pleased that they're coming to me with something else. I think that's quite fun. 2 trade skill points, that's always funny as well. Anyway, there we go. So Akalat has now been taken. As you can see, this is the current state of the map. You can see here that I obviously took Epinosa Castle in the previous episode, and then I personally went on to Kesar Castle, Tepesh Castle, Kimli Castle, and then eventually we ended up in Akalat. And, oh, the Western Empire is actually really far away. Well, that's actually not too bad because we're no longer paying for their for their tribute. As you can see, the Northern Empire, however, we are still paying them 13,000, which is absolutely awful, mind you. Yeah, all of these are terrible. All of these are absolutely terrible, terrible deals. I feel like I should probably declare war against the Northern Empire and just take Cyrenea, Myzea, and Amprila just straight up. Just really go hyper-aggressive against them and do that. But obviously we have a bit of a problem with the fact that the Khuzait are still milling about here. So I'm going to make my way over to Onira. Oh wow, we've got a large army right there. How did they do that? I guess Mr. Falcon is actually starting to... Wait a minute, Mr. Falcon? Is he in this? No. Yeah, he is, isn't he? It's that guy. Mr. you know, the fellow. You know that fellow. Wusser. He was, he used to be the Falcon, right? Of the Falcon or something like that. And now he's not. Now he's Mr. Stormsand, as you can see. Yes, look. As you can see, Mr. Falcon. Yeah, he is indeed Mr. Falcon. All right, yeah, that's fantastic. All right, so let's actually make... Ooh, okay, yeah. Onira is looking real harsh. Right. We're going to have to do something about that, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to have to do something about that. Okay, so I'm actually going to be going for plus 50% damage against shields with one-handed weapons, mostly because of the secondary, because we are obviously going to be gaining plus 15 to party limit. I don't really particularly care about minus 20% recruitment cost of infantry. And personally, for me, I think that this, or anything related to a lowering or a reduction in recruitment costs, at this point in the game, especially if you have 250 in a particular skill, I think that that is absolutely pointless. I don't know why, I have no idea why anyone would think, you know what, this is a good perk. Yeah, sure, you know, the plus 10% armor penetration with melee attacks, I think that's fine. You know, that's okay, you know, whatever. However, the recruitment cost, I just don't understand it. Why would you need this? You know, if you've obviously set up your economy well enough, you're never going to really need a recruitment cost reduction anyway, and the party limit increase is probably going to be more useful to you most of the time as it is. So yeah, bit of a weird one there. But who am I? I'm not designing the game, am I? No, I'm not designing it. Anyway, we're just going to let this guy go, because obviously there's no point in me actually taking him prisoner or anything like that. We're also going to be recruiting all these prisoners and leveling up those guys. I've been doing quite a lot of, you know, converting of prisoners, you know, capturing of prisoners, and then hopefully having them be converted at some point or another. Okay, so now here's the problem. These guys are probably going to sally out. I am almost 100% certain. There are so many forces here, though, so many troops, that their food is going to run out very, very quickly before I even have the opportunity to build trebuchets. Which I suppose isn't particularly... Whoa, okay, wait a minute. It's literally happening already. That just goes to show, never have a huge amount of troops in here. You know, in any particular town, you never really want to have a massive amount of defenders. Oh, nice. Okay, look at that. That is absolutely fantastic. We've got one of our friends here helping us. That is amazing. Alright, so that means that I'm very easily going to be able to hopefully win this, and hopefully the sally out is not actually even going to happen now, because they're going to be afraid. You know, they're going to be super afraid to do anything like that. We're just going to eliminate the last catapult there, and then we're probably going to be going in. I'm just going to recruit a couple more prisoners, and then we're going to go straight on in. Obviously, making sure that we maintain our morale is also going to be a significant benefit to us, because morale at the end of the day, that's probably one of the greatest things that you can look after, especially at this point, because you never know. Sometimes if you go into a battle and you have, I don't know, let's say that you have 40 morale or something like that, just because you've been converting so many prisoners. Let's say that you're luckier than I am and you're getting, I don't know, 20 to 30 prisoners every single day or something like that. I mean, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to do that unless you're recruiting very low tier troops, but the point is, if you do have low morale, you may indeed find yourself on the losing end of a battle at some point, because they are, you know, they're gonna make you, they're gonna make some of your forces retreat, unless you have that perk that obviously prevents them from retreating, of course. But it's actually very nice because now I have the ability to do increased damage to shields with my one-handed, so I should be able to see a lot more damage coming out from that, which I very much like, because that means I'll be able to destroy shields just that much faster. Obviously, I am using a sword, so it's not really going to be... oh, it actually did work. Look at that. It actually did destroy this guy's shield, so that's pretty nice. Alright, well, maybe it is actually working out quite well for us then. Yeah, well, these fellows are making things very uncomfortable for me right now. I'm going to have to use my athletics and speed to gain the advantage here, because otherwise we're going to have some problems. As you can see, they're doing a relatively decent job of blocking me right now. I'm just basically switching between horizontal left and right attacks, mostly because that seems to confuse them enough, especially these lower tier troops. And if you do go for overheads, obviously you're gonna leave yourself open a little bit more often, because overheads are just that little bit slower than, you know, the forehand backhand slashes. So obviously that's a little bit of a thing to take into account, and it makes it a little bit easier for the opponent to actually block you as well. So that's the reason why I'm not really going for overheads, even though I personally prefer overheads, especially if you're actually going to be fighting against some people that are highly armored. Because if they're highly armored, most likely, or more than likely, they're not really going to have the greatest protection on their head in comparison to their body. For example, this guy right here, as you can see, I actually did hit his shoulder, and I only did 31 damage. So if I were to hit his head, let's see if I can actually do that. No, hit his arm. Yeah, I hit his head, and I did 62. So you can see exactly what I'm talking about right there. If you hit anyone's head, you're going to do critical damage, or you're going to do at least, you know, more damage than you would otherwise, and that is more than adequate a reason to think, yes, overheads are definitely the way to go. Obviously, you have to be quite accurate, you know, and, you know, it's me, so maybe, you know, maybe you're not going to be, you know, you're going to be like me, and you're not going to be that accurate, but, you know, it's definitely something to consider in these kinds of situations, because it is just a little bit slower than you might like for eliminating regular troops. Because obviously these guys right here, look at these guys right here. I don't need 250 damage to eliminate militia archers. You know, I just need 100 or so. Because they're not going to have anything particularly special. They're not going to have any perks that increase their HP. And if they do have any perks that increase it, well, I'm probably going to do more than 105, 110 damage anyway. So I don't really need the critical damage from a head slash. And that's the reason why, you know, those kinds of perks are a little bit weird sometimes. You know, the ones that massively increase your damage to certain things. Obviously, you know, if you're fighting something that's super well protected, in that case, sure, you know, that's gonna make a huge difference. It really is, because if someone has massive amounts of armor, and they're really difficult to eliminate, you very badly will want as harder hitting attacks as you can get. But in most situations, you're not really going to get that. You're going to be fighting these guys. You're going to be fighting militia. You know, it depends, obviously, on what kinds of troops you're going to be fighting, because let's face it, if you're fighting, I don't know, a very strong faction like the Aserai have been over the last, I don't even know how many days in game, then, you know, if you're fighting those, well, that's all you need to know. They're very strong, and, well, they're more than likely going to have some very high tier troops, and so if they have high tier troops, they're going to be well protected. So that's one thing to bear in mind, at least. Anyway, I'm going to actually just recruit some more of these. Recruit more war mounts. Yes, I will recruit them. I will speak to them and say that I'm willing to give them some hay if they will join me. Yes, indeed. Anyway, yes, we have just taken Onira here, so I can just sell a bunch of stuff here. You see exactly how much cash I can actually make just by selling my loot. It's absolutely ludicrous. And yeah, you can also see that I am hemorrhaging money every single day, just purely for the fact that, well, we have so many really costly tributes. So I'm actually very much hoping that maybe if I'm lucky, maybe what we can do is we can declare war against the Northern Empire. Oh, these guys are actually fighting over here. Do you think I can help them? Yeah, I can actually help them. That's hilarious. Okay, let's help them then, and let's just do a nice little auto-resolve. But yeah, basically what I would like to do is maybe declare war against the Northern Empire and just see what happens. Because if we do declare war on them, it means that we don't really have to pay them anymore. And we might very well, now that some of our forces have finally gotten off the ground, it seems like maybe they've finally earned enough cash to get back on their feet. I can only hope that to be the case at least. You know, in that case, that means that we might have more of a good shot at actually defending ourselves and being able to eliminate the Northern Empire quite nicely. I mean, that's the thing. I actually didn't realize that the Western Empire was actually so far away, but at least we're not actually paying them any further, so I suppose that's good, isn't it? Because I really don't want to pay them anymore. You know, we're paying everyone so much cash right now that it is just absolutely ridiculous, but oh well, it doesn't matter too much. Okay, yeah, so once again, look at this. They literally just do not have anything at all. We're going to eliminate all of the walls here. Do they have everything down? Yes, they do. Let's go straight on in and eliminate them. I think I'm probably just going to speed through this particular siege. Do I still have HP? Oh, I do actually have some pretty good HP. Oh, okay. Maybe I should just go for it. I don't know. Maybe I should just be super hyper aggressive myself. I'm just going to go over this way. I actually really love this siege layout. I think I've mentioned this before, mostly because you do get to go inside here. Unfortunately, my forces are blocking me very adequately right now, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get too much action. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to. Maybe I will. Yeah. No, we are. We are actually getting some pretty nice hits in right there. Not too bad. We didn't even have to come from behind and penetrate their rear defenses. I'm actually surprised about that, to be honest, because usually, you know, you're going to have to flank quite a bit when it comes to penetrating. You know, you've always got to strategize and make sure that you have the exact right tactic when dealing with an opponent that has really tight defenses, you know? And as long as you can push in really hard and fast, everything should be absolutely fine, you know? The enemy just doesn't know what hit them in that case. But obviously you've got to be a little bit careful, because sometimes if you do that by surprise, you might get outnumbered. And, you know, it's one of those cases where you kind of have to maybe just gauge the waters a little bit, you know? So you might have to go up to them and be like, is it okay if I declare war on you? And then they'll be like, yeah, that's absolutely fine, because we obviously have combat strength, you know, we got the combat strength to, you know, to negate that a little bit, so we can kind of tell whether they're ready for the attack. And, well, obviously the diplomacy screen is there for a reason, so I'd highly recommend using the diplomacy screen in that case. Anyway, ooh, we're getting some really nice prisoners right here. Actually, surprisingly good prisoners, and we're going to be able to rescue those and convert them, of course. Well, not rescue them, but convert them, you know. You know what I'm talking about. And otherwise, we can just move on straight away, and I think we are done. Yes, the Crusade have been immediately destroyed, which is absolutely wonderful. We're going to give this to Zemina. She is actually having a huge problem with me showing mercy right now, so I have to be very careful of her in the future. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to increase my relation with her just by donating some, you know, just donating some very, you know, easy influence to her, because I really do not want a situation where she's going to backstab us. Which it's a high probability that that will not happen. As long as she has a high relation, as far as I'm aware, it is almost impossible for them to rebel. But I just don't want it. I don't want it to get low enough so that that actually might indeed happen. You know what I mean? I'd like to try and prevent that if at all possible. Anyway, it seems like my forces, or shall we say not my forces, but the Southern Empire are actually doing relatively well against whoever they're fighting over there. And now we can just make our way into Danustica. Let's actually take a look. They have a very low loyalty. A very low loyalty denotes a potential rebellion on the horizon. I'm kind of hoping that that might happen. Oh, let's have a look. Do they have a lot of food here? It seems like they do have a lot of food here. So I'm going to take a look. I do need to buy some food. I don't really want to buy grain. Grain is not really what I'm looking for right here. How many days do I have left? 31 days. That is not exactly good. I mean, it's okay, but if we go on any kind of extended mission or campaign, that might be a bit of a problem. Oh well, never mind. Let's just take the opportunity while we are in, or nearby to at least, Aserai territory and do a little bit of something here. Did you just see Huronag? Did you just see Huronag over there? I think I did see him, so I might actually do a little bit of talking with him. Lavinia Castle, I'm going to give this to Hasid, I suppose. I have no idea whether he's going to look after this any good at all, but I want to try to spread out our eggs so that they're not all in one basket. You know, we need to make sure of that. Anyway, there's Huronag right there. Hopefully we're going to be able to speak to him. Hello there, sir. I would like to make peace with you. You literally want all my cash. You absolute idiot. Why do you want all of my cash? You... man, are you serious? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Why does he want all of this random gear as well that I have? I mean, literally, this sells for a lot more than 100,000. I have no idea. Okay, no peace for you then. No peace for you. I will just be eliminating you instead then. I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, it's going to be super nice and easy, you know? We're going to be able to, you know, just go and speak to him. He's going to ask for 10,000 or something like that, and then we're going to be all good, you know? But nah, he doesn't want that. He wants to be merciless. He wants to try to maintain his potential raiding targets, I suppose. He wants to raid all of our villages. That's not very nice. Anyway, let's just level up these forces right here. There we go. It's been a while since we've had Aserai troops, actually, so it's pretty nice that we get them once again. Okay, so let's just take a quick look. So the Aserai, they have 12,000. Obviously, we've done some significant damage to them in the form of executions. I will continue to execute the Aserai, but I will not execute other factions unless they slight us in a big way. I'm going to declare war against the Northern Empire here. Everyone is really, really pleased about doing this, apparently, as you can quite clearly tell. I have no idea how they've now all of a sudden gotten some stones, but apparently they do. And we are now... now we're not paying them anymore. Now we're not paying the Northern Empire. That is perfect. I am very, very pleased about that. Can we actually fight? Yes, there we go. Let's take her down as well.
We are at your mercy.
Should I let her go or should I take her prisoner? I'm just going to take her prisoner. She's going to be really annoying otherwise if we let her go, isn't she? It's not something that I really want to do. I never really want to take people prisoner a huge amount. But if they're going to consistently cause themselves to be a massive pain in our side, then obviously we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to make my way... Oh, and never mind. Apparently Taliesin is going over there. I have no idea who Taliesin actually even is. I guess he is part of one of our clans, and he's the one leading for some reason. I have no idea how he has so much influence, but apparently he does. Very weird. Anyway, let me see here. I guess I'll just take these guys. I have no idea whether they need war mounts to level up into tier 5s, but if they do, we've got a pretty good amount of war mounts, so shouldn't have too many issues with that. And I just need to keep an eye on my... my food situation as well. So I'm going to go and take Cyrenea. I am literally just going to go and take Cyrenea straight away. I am going to be super... here we go. We might have an issue. No, maybe not, actually. Maybe not. You see what I see? Oh, yeah. We are full HP. We've got some pretty decent troops, and these guys are running away from me. So that, you know what that means. Oh, yeah, you know what that means. That means they are done. That means we can win against these fellows. Obviously, it very much depends on our strategy and our tactics and so on and so forth, but we should be fine. It very much just depends on what we decide to do here. Yeah, Amnon is here. I'm on the horse archers. Why am I on the horse archers? I should probably put myself on the regular cavalry, shouldn't I? So let's do that. There we go. Okay, so let's make my way over here. Okay, they actually... Oh, no, wait, no, they do have quite a few cavalry, but I don't think I should really worry about them too much.
Forward!
Just gonna move my forces ahead here a little bit. Gonna tell my archers to skirmish, first of all, but I'm gonna leave the rest, basically. Not gonna really do too much with anyone else right now. I'm just gonna try and do as much damage as I possibly can myself. I mean, this is really, really easy. I mean, look at this. Look at these guys. They're not even bothering to really defend themselves. It's actually quite funny. Look at this. This is very, very amusing. I mean, literally, they're not even shooting me. What? Why are you not shooting, sir? Okay, this is very weird. I am a bit freaked out about that, because I was thinking to myself, no, they're probably going to shoot me in the face. I'm probably going to take 50 damage from a headshot or something. But no. They apparently didn't want to do that, which I suppose is fine. I don't really mind. Anyway, let's just make our way over here. Well, we've got 140 cavalry on the field. Yeah, well, if that isn't frightening to the opponent, I won't know what is. Oh, wow, I can't actually believe I missed that one. Okay. Don't really want to miss, if I am honest. Yeah, these guys are going to be quite the pain as well, with their infinite blocking. Maybe we can get behind this guy. No, he turned at the last moment. Of course he did. Nice. Nice. That was a wonderful, wonderful slash right there. That fellow was just out of our reach. Yeah, I should probably... You know what I should do? I should be attacking their mounts. I should literally be attacking their mounts every single time. We're going to tell our horse archers to skirmish as well. That makes the most sense. Let's tell our archers to come over here. We're going to tell them to go into a loose formation. And we'll just keep our infantry in a line formation for the moment. Because once they go into shield wall, obviously they're going to be extremely slow. And it's going to take them way too long to get anywhere. So we're going to have to be a bit careful of that. And I am going to take some damage waiting in here. But hopefully I'll be able to eliminate a couple. And even if I can just take out some of their horses... That is pretty much all I can really hope for, because they are quite... Oh, never mind. I apparently am just randomly flailing around with my polearm here and getting a bunch of kills. That's very nice. I'm very pleased about that. Okay, yeah, so we've got the archers here. I'm going to put them on the little hill, because that's going to give them a nice vantage point. And my infantry are actually doing relatively nicely right now. I'm going to put my cavalry over there. Oh, okay, that would have been amazing. If I was actually able to hit that fellow, I would have been very proud. Because that guy was actually quite dangerous, I think. He seemed to have some very ornate armor on, and if we can eliminate them, that is basically the best we can get, because I think that's an Imperial Elite Cataphract or something. Anyway, we're going to tell our cavalry to charge in now. Going to tell these guys to charge in as well. My archers should have a pretty easy time of shooting from there, as you can see. They are actually launching their projectiles. I'm going to wade in here as best as I can. Obviously, we have a camel for a reason. It does so much charge damage now that we have 275 in riding skill as well. And hopefully we are going to weaken them up rather nicely, because obviously we do have a number of camel cavalry ourselves. And they're also going to be coming in here and doing some charge damage. So if we have, you know, I don't know, 5, 10, 20... I mean, we've got 40 camels, obviously, in my army, but let's just say that 40 of them all go in there. They're going to be doing at least 10 damage, maybe 20 damage with charge, hopefully. And in that case... That's a lot of damage. Now, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, you know what I mean. You get that. You know, do you get that reference? Do you get that reference? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Anyway, otherwise, this is very much a done deal. I think was I being too careful? I don't know. I'm not sure. I might have been too careful in this particular fight, because from my perspective, it looks to be, well, it seemed to be a relatively difficult position to be in, because we were obviously outnumbered. The enemy did have some pretty decent cavalry forces. Obviously, we have a load more because we are generally, you know, pretty focused on cavalry most of the time. But I was still worried, you know, because they do outnumber us. That's the main thing. They, you know, if they outnumber us, I've always got to take that into account. You can't just discount a particular army just because they have, you know, a bunch of recruits or whatever. Because sometimes even then, the AI of your own forces can concentrate on eliminating the recruits, and then the higher tier forces of the enemy are going to deal massive damage. But thankfully, no, that doesn't seem to have happened this time around, because we were actually, you know, ordering our forces around relatively well, or at least I think relatively well. Otherwise, we're just going to be taking all these guys prisoner as well. We really don't want them to be running around or doing anything like that. And we've got a bunch of level ups, as you can see right here. Actually, a significant amount of level ups. Very surprised that we're getting so many. And let me, what else do we have available here? Oh yes, Imperial Elite Cataphracts. We've got some Sturgians as well. And we can get some of these. Imperial Legionaries, Manavlions. Yeah, we're getting way too many of these right now. So I'm going to have to do something about this. I'm going to have to maybe get rid of some of these tier 4s. Yeah, this is a bit of a this is a bit of an issue, isn't it? This is a bit of an issue. Okay, yeah, I guess I will just have to get rid of these fellows then. Didn't really want to have to do that because I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to expand our infantry forces a little bit, and it is going to be a lot easier for us to recruit the infantry into our ranks than it would be to recruit the you know, the cavalry, because it just takes a lot longer to recruit cavalry as far as I'm aware. Anyway, there you go. That was a wonderfully major victory for us against the Northern Empire. If we take a look at the diplomacy screen, you can see here that their total strength has already been depleted quite a significant amount. I'm not entirely sure what they started at. Maybe it wasn't that much, but I feel like we actually did a pretty decent job. And look at our total combat strength right now. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And obviously Taliesin is going to be attempting to take Ursina Castle there. And we're going to take Cyrenea, but we're going to probably leave that for the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.